get a chance to wear shades and play Magnus Carlsen. And we're off, David.
Wow, and it's not November. Magnus has grown some interesting facial hair here. What is going on with Magnus Carlsen's moustache? Well, he's playing black. He hasn't made a move yet. He's playing against an FM Olhovik here, who we now see appear. Magnus nearly got drawn again against the slayer of Carlsen last week, Bynum. They were seeds apart, very close. But okay, the game is off. And looks like a King's Indian defense.
Yeah, very exciting opening. King's Indian. We always get a lot of action in this particular variation, with black trying to attack on the king side and white often using that space advantage on the queen side. I'm still looking at that moustache, David. It's kind of freaking me out a little bit.
Yeah, we're used to talking about Magnus's hair. That seems to be a weekly subject, but the facial hair, that's a rare one.
I mean, I can't really talk, to be honest. But I mean, Magnus is always trying out new looks, and it's also great to have the cameras here of the players. And a pretty standard kind of position here.
Yeah, pretty standard so far. Magnus taking a bit of time to decide whether or not to castle. This is one of those interesting positions where if Magnus does castle early, the temptation might be for white to start throwing pawns forward on that king side. First, a pin of the black knight. Magnus, he started playing this opening more and more in recent years, and I wouldn't associate it with Magnus too much. Like, it's a bit more dynamic. We're used to seeing him grind out endgames. He would go white expanding. But he has embraced the chaos that tends to come with this opening. You've played it yourself, Simon.
Yeah, I actually had the King's in defence against Korchnoi in Swiss Open Championships. Obviously, he was quite old then. So, but I'm a great fan of the King's in defence, and it's really interesting to see the evaluation bar. It's always in white's favour because of the space advantage. The engine really likes the space that white has, but practically black gets loads of sort of counter-attacking chances. But I think white's done a pretty good job here of stopping f5, maybe. I mean, so Magnus possibly has to go on the queen side.
Mm-hmm. Everything's covered. No pawn breaks for black. That's the normal move you want to play. Magnus is playing it very positionally now. The King's Indian bishop tends to be stuck behind its own pawn chain, so he's trying to trade it off for white's better bishop, leaving white with a bit of a silly piece, especially if the white pawns remain on light squares. Bishop on c2, not great. Magnus looks pretty happy.
Big time advantage as well for white here. I mean, this, as you don't get increments at all, that can be very important. And this is a nice move. White would love to push his B pawn, the Barry pawn, but he can't do that easily now.
Yeah, he has to keep the pawns defending each other. The black knight would have swooped in, hitting the white queen if he had been able to push forward with the B pawn. That now means that Olhovik here has a difficult choice. He cannot castle on the queen side. He can't even really think about moving his king that direction because black has an open file. He castles the opposite flank, but now he surely wishes that this pawn was back on its starting square.
Yeah, there's ideas of h5 as well at some point, just trying to open up the king side. And yeah, that G pawn looks a little bit far away from white's king, but very balanced position still. And Magnus spent half of his time, the evaluation bar still very much in white's favour here. And with that last move, the bishop just slides in to a slightly more active square.
Yeah, very odd to see Magnus so slow. Normally he's got a big time advantage, especially in the early few rounds. He tries to use the clock as a weapon, but maybe just getting to terms with the position. A bit unorthodox here. I really do like his last move. Just kind of keeping white guessing. Will he take this knight? Will he take the bishop later? Does white ever dare to break the tension? And that idea you mentioned, h5, Harry. I thought it was going to be a few rounds in before we started talking about Harry the h-pawn, but wow, it's...
Oh, I love this move, David.
Eddie the e-pawn.
It is Eddie the eagle, the e-pawn. And this is a move that I really like. I don't know if it's good, but I like it, David.
Yeah, there was a trap there. If the black queen had taken, there would have been a nasty pin on the e-file. Instead, white has carved out a nice square for himself. And that white knight looks very good, but Magnus is fighting hard here. He wants to distract white from any possible attack against the black king by hitting this pawn, and time is key here.
It is, yeah. I mean, this is looking okay for black. I mean, I thought white could have tried pushing a pawn to attack the knight. Magnus is a pawn up. Obviously, that's going to play a part later on. He's still got this h5 move, maybe, on the side of the board, pushing Harry out the board to try to get a rook in the game, but very, very messy position so far.
Yeah, very messy, but maybe a mistake. That feels like it's in the wrong direction, and Magnus doesn't capitalize there. What was wrong with that knight jump?
I don't know. I mean, I was looking at bishop takes g4, but I don't think it's any more than a draw. And Magnus has seen something here, right? He suddenly realised that he's missed something. I don't know exactly what the move was, to be honest. I mean, it wasn't obvious.
Yeah, let's listen into Magnus to see what he might have missed.
Castles. That looks a bit. Is that the point? Maybe I'll go here. Right. C2. Then.
Okay, it feels like Magnus there was maybe discussing a position just a few moments ago. But it does look like he did miss this nice sacrifice. Bishop takes g4. Now that bishop's gone, meaning that Magnus might have to work a little bit harder to crack open the white king. He was very much focused on the moves there, the calculation. And now he's up on time for the first time in this game, Simon.
Yeah, and his position looks quite comfortable now. I mean, I think white has to use this. That's a good move. Has to try using these pawns to open up the bishop. But there's that move, h5. Harry comes into play. Don't we just love a bit of Harry action, David?
Exactly. Harry action and hairy action from Magnus Carlsen. As there we go. He does put pressure on the bishop now. It's going to be difficult to keep that h-file closed much longer. The pawn storm, it looks like the black pawns are the ones doing the business.
Yeah, it's the white king, which is now in trouble. I mean, if it was that g-pawn, you said it all along, David, that pawn that had gone a little bit too far, if you can move that back and place it in front of white's king here, then white would have good attacking chances in the long run. But Magnus lands that first blow, and you can see from his body language, he leant back, very comfortable. He kind of realizes now that he's got everything he wants, and white desperately trying to open things up, but it must be a bit slow here. The black king, quite safe.
Oh, that black king is super safe. It's going to slide across. Okay, if it had been checked, it would have slid across. One final trick. A very nice one from Olhovik there, but Magnus is going to use his rook to block any checks now. There we go. The rook will step back and the bishop is gone. The h-file will be open. Looks like a free piece.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the queen is coming. Oh, hang on a minute. What's happened here? Look at the pile there. It's changed somewhat, and the black king's also very weak here, David.
Wow, Magnus is 1 or 2 moves away here from delivering checkmate. He was probably banking on ideas like queen takes pawn and coming in, giving the kiss of death to the white king, but suddenly white's creating counterplay. The black rook is the main defender. That's going to be eliminated. And, I mean, we see the eval bar. Magnus doesn't. He might not realize that white's counterplay is real.
Yeah, 100% real. Whose king is weakest? It looked like the white's king, but now the black king, and Magnus is starting to realize with his time ticking under a minute. Could this be a massive shock again in round 1?
Wow, almost unthinkable that Magnus would ever lose round 1 in Title Tuesday. For it to happen twice in 2 weeks would be truly shocking. He runs away with his rook. Oh. Shake of the head. What's Magnus thinking about now?
Well, the thing is, you've got c7 after a check on c4 or something. I mean, it's very dangerous. Who's going to land that blow first? White, 37 seconds left.
Oh, he does give a check.
And now surely, and there it is, with the idea of the white rook coming in and landing another check. Very tense.
Wow, that would force the black king onto a square where it blocks the queen and rook combo. Magnus looks shocked in disarray here. He might have to be a bit cynical with the flagging. Yeah. 30 seconds for Olhovik here.
Yeah, I mean, this is, but also there's a queen check here. There's loads of tempting moves for white, but he's got 20 seconds. You've got a flag here. This is why you have that. Okay, the queen diving in. 17 seconds. White is doing very well. Oh no!
Oh my gosh!
He's fallen. He's fallen for something nasty. 11 seconds.
Olhovik only has one winning move. It's to push this pawn forward. He doesn't find it. 8 seconds. Magnus is going to survive. Now he plays it. But now, can Magnus keep advancing with his king? Can he take that pawn? Oh my God! Magnus is going to lose. Oh no! Queen takes knight was winning. Magnus got checkmated in that exact way last week, but not this time. Olhovik doesn't find the way. Magnus